What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel 80 years anniversary, the mighty Thor. And Thor comes with two accessories. That's going to be Mjolnir and an additional hand. So let's go ahead and get him out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so here we have Thor out of the box, and I have to say, I think they did an amazing job with this figure. It looks like he jumped straight off the pages of the comic books. He has the iconic winged helmet, holding Mjolnir, of course, and then I especially like the boots, the way that they have them wrapped up. I also like the gold accents that they used on his foot right there. I think that was a really nice touch and helps complete the look. The combination of colors also makes this figure stand out. With the red, the black, the silver, you have the goldish hue on the belt and the boots and the black accents. His belt also has a design on it, which I think is a nice touch. And he's wearing these wristbands, which I think really help keep his arms from looking too plain. You can take those off if you want. You can just simply pop the hands out, slide those off, if you so choose. And on the back, you can also see the shading that's done on the cape, which I think is an especially nice touch, and I'd love to see more of that being done with Marvel Legends figures. And speaking of shading, on his hair, you do get some lighter, more whitish highlights mixed in with the blonde. I think if they would have mixed in some darker hues, it probably would have made it pop a little bit more. Both the helmet and the cape are non-removable. Also, with his hair being this long and the fact that the cape is non-removable, it sort of limits the articulation with the head, so you don't get a whole lot of movement in terms of him being able to move his head. That's pretty much it, side to side, what you're seeing right there. You can get him looking up and down. Try spinning him around a little bit here, but you don't get a whole lot of movement, and I think that's probably my biggest complaint. Now, one thing I do want to clarify, when I say that the cape is non-removable, that's not necessarily true. If you pull on it hard enough, you probably can get it to pop out. But mine in particular, especially on this side, is in there really tight. And so I just don't feel comfortable pulling it out. And one thing too, for the purposes of this review, is that Thor is meant to wear the cape. And you can tell that from the way his hair is parted on the side. And so when I do my review, it's based upon the way the figure comes. And so yes, you may be able to pull the cape off and get more movement from the head, but you really shouldn't have to, because the way this figure is made, he's wearing the cape. So you would expect the articulation of the head to be there with the cape on. So before you guys go crazy in the comments saying, no, you can get it out, you just have to pull on it really hard, let me just clarify that. I like the silver that they used on the chest plate. Unfortunately on mine it has a little bit of black showing through, but I can probably touch that up. You see a little bit of marbling on the helmet, which is unfortunate, but not too big of a deal. The helmet also has a little spike at the top, which I think helps accentuate it some. But let's go ahead and continue looking at the articulation. Okay, so in terms of articulation, for his arms, you get bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and his wrist swivel and pivot. Now, the wrist that holds Mjolnir actually pivots up and down, so you're going to get it able to move like that. And the other wrist has a pivot where it goes up and down, as you can see on the joint right there. For his legs, you're gonna get thigh swivel, double jointed knees, boot swivel, as well as ankle pivot. He features waist swivel, so you're gonna be able to get him turning like that, and also that upper torso pivot slash swivel. So you're gonna be able to get him turning like that. Now, even though his cape does interfere with the movement of his head, you can still rely on the upper torso swivel to get Thor looking in the direction that you want to, and the waist swivel also comes in handy for this as well. So here's a couple of shots of Thor next to some other figures so you can get an idea of how he scales. Taking a look at Mjolnir, I really like the design of it. They have the inscription on it. It has a weathered look. So I think they did a really nice job with the detail on this so it doesn't just look like a cinder block on a stick. Alright, so now let's go ahead and move into my final thoughts on the 80 years anniversary, the mighty Thor. Okay, so for my final thoughts on the mighty Thor, I think they did a great job capturing the essence of Thor. It looks like he jumped straight off the pages of the comic books, like I said. With Mjolnir, I love the detail that they added, the weathering effect that they put on it. Like I mentioned, I think it would have helped to have a longer handle and maybe a little bit more paint detail, like perhaps changing the color of the strap or maybe giving more accents to the wrap that goes around the handle or even the bottom of it there. The articulation loses a few points mainly because of the head. You pretty much don't have any real movement, and like I said, even if you pull that cape off, you're really still not going to get a whole lot of articulation from it. So I think they chose style over function, and I can't really say that they made a bad decision in doing so. So if you're a fan of Thor, or if you just want to get a retro Avengers lineup, I think this is a good figure to go with. If you haven't seen my review on the Marvel 80 Years Captain America figure, I'll link to it so you guys can check that out. And the next video I'm going to be doing is the 80 Years Iron Man figure, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for your support, and I'll see you on the next video.